we are sitting with Mena from the Kheper brand here at her manufacturing and retail facility in Tableview area. And Mena is kindly offered to take us through a process and give us all the knowledge that she has acquired over the past few years that she started up her brand.
Google. So when we started, we were looking for a name that was going to mean like to become, that there's the possibility of evolving and that you're not stuck in the now, that there is tomorrow. So when we were Googling, we came across the word Kheper, which is the Egyptian word. And
it's still African.
It's still African, it's still in Africa. And it's got the scarab. So our emblem is actually a little birdie thing. It's actually a scarab with the sun. So the sun keeps evolving, it's a continuous circle. So you don't ever have to give up. You always have tomorrow. You're not stuck in the now. So my love for fashion didn't necessarily start with fashion. It actually started with the love of going to gym every day. So Martin, who's my business partner and husband, we were both working in town, living in Tableview. So because he's got road rage and because he was into bodybuilding, every day after work, to miss the traffic, we would go to Wembley, the Virgin there, and train. So I was like into the gym, I was building this great body, but the one thing that bothered me constantly was either my gym tights would become see-through, or I'd have to pay 1,000 Rand for good quality pay. And I would see other women in the gym, and you know, when you bend, you see the underwear. So there was, I felt there was this gap in the market for a higher quality tights. And then we got to the point of, okay, but when I look at all these local brands and international brands, this was like 3-4 years ago, there was no woman of color really representing us in the marketing. If you went through the Cosmopolitan back in the day, you'd rarely see a woman of color. If you would go through like any magazine, you wouldn't see a woman of color representing the fitness industry. That has changed now. But back then, before, woman of color was like, oh, I don't relate. Why should I spend my money with you? So what I then did, this is 2017, this is like March. Martin and I started having the conversation, what if we started our own activewear brand? At the time, he was working full-time, I was working full-time. And he was like, oh, okay, cool. So what do you want to do? What do you want to do? What do you think we should do? So I said, wait, let me first do some market research. So my market research was creating a fake account on Instagram. And I contacted over 500 women over a weekend. And I asked them questions like, what do you think is missing in activewear for you? Why do you feel you're not being represented? I asked them all these questions, and all the answers I was getting back was exactly how I was feeling. I felt not represented as a person of color. I felt that the quality was bad, and if I wanted a good quality product, I had to pay like 1,000 Rand plus at the time. So they were just giving me all the answers back, and then I said, Martin, that was a Sunday night, I said to Martin, we're starting a gym brand. Literally as the conversation went, he's like, okay, cool, we're starting a gym brand. So I have no experience in fashion, I have no experience in CMT, no experience whatsoever. Neither does Martin, although Martin has owned his own businesses. So he had more of the business knowledge.
Okay.
And I had more of the marketing knowledge because I was working in marketing and advertising and sales at the time. So we just basically combined those two and started working on this project. Now the biggest hurdle for me at the time was, oh God, we know nothing about making clothes in Cape Town. We know nothing about fabrics or manufacturing. We didn't know where to go, what to do. So what I did is I went to Gumtree and I found a consultant on Gumtree. And I thought to myself, okay, if we find a consultant, it's gonna work because firstly, Martin works full-time, I work full-time. This is like a passion project, you know? And we need somebody who knows the ins and outs of the fashion industry, where to find a CMT, how to do this, how to do that, run the patterns for us. Oh, biggest mistake, waste of money ever. Because at the end of the day, this woman, I had this vision in my head, and this woman was completely telling me my vision was wrong. I already had the price point in my mind. And she was telling me, you would never sell it at that cost. You should have a 200, 300 Rand markup, a 300% markup. And I was like, but that's not why I'm starting this. So a month in, she fired us because I was stubborn.
She fired you.
She fired me because within a month, I'd learned so much, because at the end of the day, I realized, okay, if I'm going to just let this woman tell me this is how it's supposed to be, I'm going to believe this is how it's supposed to be. So I started doing my own research and my own groundwork, speaking to pattern makers, and everybody I found in the initial stages was on Gumtree. I use Gumtree. My first CMT comes from Gumtree. My first pattern makers come from Gumtree. Everything came from Gumtree. I even found this consultant on Gumtree. So within a month she fired us because I was like, this is what I want. This is how I want it to be.
But this is what's also important for startups, to understand that it's not always having to have a big network around you.
Not at all.
Figure it out as you go along.
I
And
think
build your relationship with your customer. Because that's how I see. I mean, everything that I'm listening to, you've made that a very good,
connection. Yeah.
A real, authentic connection.
I firmly believe if I had to wait to get my packaging right and find the perfect CMT and all these little stumbling blocks that came our way before we started, we wouldn't be where we are now. The most important thing is to start. You can fix your packaging as you go along. 3 years in, I just got custom boxes made. And I'm not happy with it. I want to change it. I want to be a little more bougie, but I know that takes time and money. Right now, what I invest in, or what we invest in, is fabric, upskilling our staff, and machinery. That's my focus.
Okay. But you're following an organic path, but not just like randomly.
No.
You know what your objective
In the beginning, you're not going to know. That will come. Your why will also change as you go along. And your how will also change, like it did for us, how we make clothing and why we make clothing. It will evolve as you go along. But the most important thing is to start, because if you don't start, you don't know what you need to improve.
So, Mena, I want to thank you so much for blurting out all your knowledge of us. Because, I haven't worked on apparel manufacturing for many years. So you taking me through this and showing me how quickly you just acquired all this knowledge is quite a big deal. And I just want to thank you for sharing that, because it's not everybody that has this kind of open and transparent, approach about the industry. Thank you very much, and wish you the best of luck with everything you're doing.
Thank you so much.